Let's talk about Gavin Williamson, the former Chief Whip, now back in government, sitting in cabinet as a choice of Rishi Sunak. Played a crucial role, we think, in helping him get his position at the top of the greasy pole. But allegations of bullying continue. The latest claim being made, not that he just bullied a fellow MP, the last Chief Whip, as was Wendy Morton, by sending her text messages with some naughty words in, but also a claim that he dealt with MOD officials in a similar way, saying to one civil servant that he should slit his throat. Gavin Williamson has denied any bullying claims, but hasn't denied using those exact words. Let's talk about this with Sir Alistair Graham. He's the former chair of the Committee on Standards in Public Life. Good morning to you, Sir Alistair. Good morning. Good morning, Chief. Thank you very much for joining us. There's no doubt at all, Gavin Williamson is not a popular figure among a lot of MPs. There's no doubt at all also he was a very successful and proficient Chief Whip. I wonder if those two things often go hand in hand. What do you make of the allegations about Gavin Williamson? Not just the claims that he sent these text messages, which, again, haven't been denied and have been seen by a number of people, to Wendy Morton, former Chief Whip. I have to say, I didn't have that big a problem with a lot of those. But telling a civil servant in the Ministry of Defence, when he was Defence Secretary, that he should slit his throat, seems to be something that I think most people would probably get the sack for.
Well, I agree. It's a very serious set of allegations, certainly the ones involving the ex-Chief Whip. And as I understand it, they're going to be formally investigated under the new procedures that the House of Commons have for dealing with allegations of bullying, sexual misbehaviour and similar matters. What has surprised me is that the Prime Minister hasn't suspended him from office while this investigation takes place. Excuse me. But that seems to me to be essential.
And probably would be normal procedure. I mean, Sir Gavin Williamson has been he said strongly rejects the allegations, but he hasn't specifically. He hasn't specifically denied having said these words, and there apparently were other people in the meeting, and this was raised with MOD's HR department at the time, although a formal complaint was not raised. But this is the issue, isn't it? When Rishi Sunak, when he stood outside Downing Street and said, especially in the wake of Partygate and all the issues there, that this was going to be sort of an ethical, higher standards government. This raises issues for him, doesn't it? Because everyone knows that Gavin Williamson was not fated for his abilities as Defence Secretary. He had to resign over various issues there. He wasn't fated as Education Secretary, but he is known to be a ruthless and very good Chief Whip. Is there an element where it sort of looks like, well, we're all in favour of ethics and morals and being very good in our behaviour, except when it's useful to us? Do you think that undermines not just Sir Gavin Williamson but also Rishi Sunak in his premiership?
No, I don't really. We have to apply the standards that all of us would want applied to us. And I would have thought the Prime Minister would be anxious to show he was different from Johnson. Johnson was very casual about standards issues, and you would have thought the Prime Minister would have wanted to set a new tone. And I've heard lots of references to we've got to provide trust. We've got to show integrity. Yet I don't think he's making a very good start in that. We've had the appointment of Suella Braverman. We've now had this Gavin Williamson set of allegations which are going to be fully investigated. And that'll take some time, which is why I think it would have been sensible to suspend him from office while the investigation takes place, consider the report and come to a conclusion about whether he's a fit and proper person to be a minister.
And the interesting thing is he always takes so long. I've never understood why these investigations aren't always done within, a fortnight. It's interesting, though, you think Nick Brown, who was Chief Whip to Tony Blair when he was Prime Minister, and then Gordon Brown, and to all subsequent Labour leaders, including Keir Starmer, very proficient, and again, quite a reputation as a bruiser, I think is the polite way of putting it. He currently suspended from that job, suspended from the Labour Whip since September. Never been an explanation about why that's happened. We'd have no idea. There seem to be an awful lot of these sort of stories going around.
Well, I think we have to recognise as well that the world has moved on. The standards that people expect from their politicians are now very much higher than they might have been some years.
I wonder if we've just lowered them. Sir Alistair Graham, thank you very much indeed for joining us.